Well, Charles at the moment is recuperating, so he will be back shortly here with us. Well, that's what we start off with today, talking about security. We're joined now by retired Colonel Yomi Dare, former Director, Army Legal Services. Thank you for coming on this morning, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, part of what was said there, they were determined to proceed because I think they had told them not to come to do or hold the rally there. But then from what Charles did say that they were determined to go on, it were just scare tactics by nameless and faceless people. And so they proceeded. The candidate there also says, yes, they were determined to go ahead. At that circumstance, were they wrong to have gone ahead? Because some have said, look, we've had this kind of thing before, so we might as well just go on. And who knows, could they have even come from, we don't know if it came from a credible security source saying, look, don't proceed. Not exactly sure what that situation was, but from what they said, did you think that, or do you think they should have gone ahead or held on?
Thank you very much, Chamberlain. For me, I want to believe that once issues are bordered on security, they must be taken very seriously. They must be taken very seriously, regardless of other intervening factors, maybe political or otherwise. The benefit of the doubt must be given to what borders on security. I think they should have stopped.
But because we don't know the kind of information they had, because they hold these rallies on a regular basis. People tell them all sorts of things. So maybe, what if they had considered it in the light of what they had received previously and said, well, if we received this kind of information and we proceeded, it was okay. They don't see any reason why they should.
Well, again, I just watched that clip, and one big question is, where was the police at that material time? Because it is their sole responsibility. So if they had probably called the organizers to say that, look, we have security or intelligence information that people are about to foment trouble, so we advise that you shouldn't hold this rally. I think they should respect that.
From the clip, as you're saying, from the clip, we took this, we had live footage from the event, but if you notice, there were some policemen there holding guns and all. I mean, one would have thought that if they had responded, it would have turned out to be an all-out war, and then maybe more casualties would have happened there. What do you think? We understand there were about 200 policemen on that grounds, but that back and forth of exchange of gunfire wouldn't it have been more dangerous?
Well, I'm not saying that, I do not expect that to happen, because for all you care, innocent citizens will be caught in the crossfire. And how are you sure of the competence of some of those people bearing arms? How are you sure they can even handle those arms properly? You know. But again, don't forget that the way the police are deployed lately, you find out that some politicians, some move with platoons of policemen. So probably most of the people you are seeing there are people that have come in as escorts to the politicians that are not really deployed there, because there is a police command. And I believe that at this point in time, the Commissioner of Police and those in charge of security in Rivers State should be in the better position to tell us what the issues were.
This is the 21st or 22nd rally. And I mean, why would we get to the point where we'll be having this kind of fracas? They've had several rallies that have gone on without any of such incidents. So why do you think we got to this point?
Well, I want to believe that it's because probably, again, of emotions, what we currently are experiencing. You recall that by now we're supposed to have had, you know, the elections, especially the presidential election, and people, they were divided opinion as to the postponement While some welcome it, some other people think otherwise. So emotions are really high, and if we are not really careful, we can expect more of this kind of situations in the coming days.
Well, I think it's important to, while we analyze this, to also put this in context. From the reports that we gather, this is the third attempt of this particular political party to hold a rally in this same local government. We understand that the first one had been aborted, and there had been warnings for the political party not to hold any rally in that particular local government. Do you think that, you know, that sort of situation should be able to, or should be allowed to exist in any part of this country?
I do not think so. I do not think so. So let the law enforcement agents tell the world, tell Nigerians why elections should not hold in a particular local government, since there is no state of emergency. I mean, none that I know about.
No, the reason why that is important, I'm trying to put this in context with their words, the words of those who went on with the rally in spite of, because it would seem that what happened was that there was an earlier explosion, 3 different explosions according to our correspondent. The first one was really, like he said, it was more or less like a knockout. The second one was louder than the first one, and then the third one was the really big bang, which was said to, you know, it sent everyone scampering away. And then eventually they said when the governorship candidate of that party came into the venue, that all settled and people came back to the venue of the rally, and they said they were going on in defiance. You say that wasn't right. Do you think, with the benefit of, you know, this contextualization, do you think that they had a right to go on in spite of that, what they thought was meant to scare them? Or they should have put the lives or the security of the people who had come for that rally into consideration?
Yeah, I think the overall security of the lives and properties of the people who are to attend the rally should be paramount in the minds of the organizers, regardless of their interest in going on with the election. Because at the end of the day, it is the downtrodden ones that will suffer. You know, I believe that they should, and then they probably would now channel their, you know, their complaint, their grievance as to why they should not hold a peaceful and free rally in that local government.
It's also important to note that this, we understand, is the hometown of the governorship candidate. Right? I keep saying aspirant, of the governorship candidate as well. So it would seem that the emotions there also cannot be divorced from what was happening there.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's more to what you and I are probably saying. There's more to what it is on the ground than what we are.
Because the thing is, two aspects. First, they will say, look, if they say there was security report for people not to come out for that rally, if they sit back in the guise of hiding that security report, they give in to those who are trying to intimidate them. And then if they come out, they have to demonstrate, yes, we have to do what we have to do politically. It's a free society. And then at their own risk. Because you talk about the politicians go a platoon of security to protect them, then the people are exposed, because there will always be that challenge protecting that amount of crowd. And then we saw 200 policemen. Suddenly they couldn't eventually prevent those people from scampering for safety, because when you hear sporadic gunshots, you have to scamper. Are we between the devil and the deep blue sea here?
Well, that's a very, very dicey one, and like I said earlier, these are some of the fallout from the situation in which we find ourselves right now. It's really unfortunate, but we can't really divorce ourselves from this kind of security issues or challenges coming up. But again, I'll expect that in a situation like this, adequate security arrangement should have been put in place. maybe a cordoning of the venue. You understand? Because it's the same policing that we've had all over.
The Constitution guarantees freedom of association. People are free to gather. But in a situation where you have security issues, at least get permission from the police, meaning that there will be police on duty. We understand that there were policemen on duty. But the question I want to ask is it right for anybody to say, you cannot, I mean, this is a period of electioneering campaign here and there. Is it right for anybody to say you cannot hold a rally in this place to anybody, even when you have police permission?
I don't think it is right. I do not think it is right. As far as I'm concerned, whoever says such or makes such a statement should be made to answer questions, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you know, I'm also wondering what the Commissioner of Police could have done. Perhaps, you know, in this particular situation, I'm sure most likely, perhaps they went ahead with the go-ahead of, you know, of the Commissioner of Police, because it would have been a little uncanny for them to have gone on without any assurances of from the security agencies that it was okay to do that. Do you think that there was anything extra he could have done?
Well, I would expect that, just like you have in even nationally, where the major contestants of the political parties, I mean the main gladiators, where you have them been you know, brought together to sign what you call
Peace pacts.
Peace pacts, the Abuja, you know, Accord, and there's various ones. We had one in Lagos here too. So I would have expected at that level to have such, you know, because the way we are structured, you know, I mean, you know, you have the local government. We even start from the ward. You have your street, I mean, your ward, your street, your town, and then the local government, and then the state. So this is a local government thing. You know, I'm sure the two main contestants, the political parties, they have their representatives in those local governments. So I would have expected that the law enforcement agents, like the Commissioner of Police, the DPO, the area commander, they would have, you know, brought these people. Say, look here, we know you guys. Talk to your members, talk to your followers, that we don't want any trouble. So I mean, and that again is part of what you call community policing.